Hey, Sean Chandler here. The season 3 finale of The Flash just dropped, and it had all kinds of bombs, twists, plot development, all kinds of crazy stuff happen, so I want to talk about it. The first thing I want to do, I threw out some predictions, and you guys threw out lots of predictions and theories in my last video where we talked about this as to try to figure out where this was going, and my rate of guessing where this was going was very, very wrong. Just so you know, this is going to be spoiler-filled, talking about it, so if you haven't watched the episode yet, don't tune into this. With that said, let's go for it. First thing you got to talk about, Iris is alive. Iris did not die. A lot of you guys predicted this, that it was HR, did the old swapperoo all over the internet. A bunch of you guys guessed that. I was 50-50 on whether it was going to turn out to be true. That's what happened, and so she survives. And all this stuff happens, and so the timeline changes, and so then there's a paradox heading, so Savitar's limited on time before things are going to go down really bad for him. And so this leaves Barry to try and redeem him, and this leads to our final showdown because he doesn't want to be redeemed. Big giant final battle. They defeat him. Iris shoots him in the back, and then the Time Force in the end gets really, really mad at them, or specifically at Barry, and so Barry has to sacrifice himself to save the day. So there's all kinds of twists. I wasn't we were kind of discussing, predicting some ways that Barry might die in this episode, and that's not what happened at all. We were thinking maybe he'd kill himself to stop Savitar, but there was a lot of discussion. I specifically mentioned Season 5 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer ends with Buffy jumping into a gigantic glowing thing to save the universe, and that's exactly how this episode ends. If you're wondering, if you're in the chat board right now, how I'm able to talk with you while this is going on, my wife is right here next to me helping out. She'll be very quiet, but she might chime in just a little bit. So anyway, that's my rundown of the big twist, big gigantic stuff that happened. Real quick, anyone want any shout-outs before I keep going? Go ahead and tell me, and my wife will, Gamer Cop, you've been chiming in all day. Thank you much for joining in. Mr. Slothy, big shout out to you. Julian Ferrari, I'm sorry if I misread that. Big shout out to you as well. Thank you guys for joining once again. You guys joined me last week. But so overall, my thoughts on this episode, I was a little bit 50-50. I loved all the twists. I thought there was some cleverness with where they went with things. But at the same time, the way the specific elements kind of came together, it felt like it was going in several different directions at different times. So I wasn't entirely as happy with the way it all fit together as I was wanting it to. I really joined last week. Dylan Hill says I joined last week. Yes, you got a shout out last week as well. I'm wondering if you're the Dylan Hill that I think you are. Gamer Cop just, I can't believe how wrong we were. We were quite wrong in our guesses. We both guessed on where we thought things were going. So anyway, there's a bunch of speculation. Is this the end of Barry? Last week we talked about extensively how getting rid of Barry at this point in time, especially putting him in the Speed Force, what they might do is they might have Wally take over, run things for a little while they try and save Barry through the timeline, through other speed stuff, trying to come up with our ideas. I can't imagine that Barry Allen is actually dead and gone from the show. But what happened at the end of Season 5 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is that she essentially goes to hell for the summer. She dies and they think that she goes off to hell, so they try and rescue her, and they find a way to bring her back, and she's crazy. Kind of, at least for a little bit. She's a little bit off. And then there's some twists that go along with that. But that's the big question, exactly how this is going to play out. Yeah, he's not dead, but he's in the Speed Force, and so someone has to take his place for him to be able to get out of there. So that's the big question. How is all that going to play out? But let's kind of break it down. What did I think about the twist that HR found a way to replace Iris, and so he dies instead of her dying? I mostly really liked it. As a dramatic way to do things, I really liked the fact that HR got a moment to be great, because he wasn't the guy that brought super brilliant plans. He wasn't the guy that was the smartest. He was really likable and charming. He screwed up big time, caused Iris' life to be in danger, and so he chooses to sacrifice himself. Dramatically speaking, that's really powerful, strong stuff that I really liked. The problem with the way it plays out is that story-wise, it seemed like they're cheating a little bit. Which is to say that HR tracks her down, rescues her, only to fail at rescuing her, so that he has to swap himself out. You start going, why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do this? There's a couple story things in that don't quite work. Dramatically speaking, as a justice for what he did, making it right, as well as, most importantly, finding a way to have Iris gets saved that Barry wouldn't know about, which in the end makes it so Savitar can be defeated. Because it's not just that HR helped save Iris, it's that he was able to change the timeline in a way that pulled Savitar out of loop so he doesn't entirely know what's going on. So I kind of like that about the way that worked out with it. And then that's kind of where it leads. And then so the episode kind of moves from there into kind of this middle zone where they're like, hey, can we redeem? Like Barry's like, I'm a good guy. You do what they suggested. And I should try and be a nice guy and try and redeem Future Flash. And that part, once again, was kind of, it felt the whole time like, the episode has to end with a big showdown. The episode's not going to end with, all right, let's shake hands. We're buddies now. You know that that's not what's going to happen. Therefore, that whole middle section felt a little bit like, okay, we're trying to have a nice conversation here. We're trying to have Barry apologizes to him. We're trying to do all that. The problem with it is we just know where it's headed. And then we get to our final showdown, and like you have this moment where you're like, we got Barry, we got Jay, and we got Wally, we got Cisco, we got all these superpower people taking on Savitar all at once. There's so much stuff there that we're supposed to be super excited about. And the specific way that it kind of plays out, it was a bit anticlimactic. There's some really cool shots, and it was like for about a minute, I was like, yes, this is awesome. And then it felt a little bit like it just kind of went, ooh, and the energy, it was like, it just kind of anticlimactically, the way it played out. I wanted to like it more, like all the elements are there, like 3 Flashes against a Future Flash in a metal robot suit. This is awesome. And then it was like, it kind of tapered out, like the way it specifically played out, unfortunately. So almost awesome, not quite awesome. And then we move into the final section of the way, and then they take him out, and it just Iris shoots him in the back, which dramatically, once again, I really like dramatically speaking the way that played out, but all of it felt so kind of rushed, like we had to have a whole season we've been building towards this showdown, and then the sequence starts, and we got 3 Flashes and an evil Flash, so we kind of have 4 Flashes, other superheroes in the mix. And then you have to squeeze that into a 6-minute time block between commercials, and it's just like Iris shoots him in the back. Dramatically speaking, that's kind of cool, but in the full scheme of things, it wasn't quite as, that whole thing kind of felt anticlimactic in a sense, as kind of the frustration in some of it. So, good stuff in there, somewhat anticlimactic. Like I said, when it comes to twists in this episode, when it comes to like, whoa, look what they were, this cleverness, where are we going? All that was really good. The actual specific plot, the actual specific payoffs of everything we've been building towards, a little bit came off, like I said, underwhelming. And then we get to the final section there, where we have a happy moment, where Barry delivers the invitations to his wedding, and kind of one final moment, just kind of runs them all out there. It's all out there, and then immediately we switch to a new plot, and it's like Speed Force has returned, and with a vengeance, and you're gonna get taken away. And so we very quickly go to a different direction, and so it felt like that needed to be built up better. Like I feel like this finale, they had 2 episodes worth of finale in this one finale, so that they should have played it out differently, so that we could have fully integrated all of these elements into it properly, and not just let's have a showdown in 6 minutes, followed by let's set up the next season in 6 minutes. But if they could have integrated it with more time, with it being, I feel like all of this would have been better and would have felt better. But the way it plays out, you're watching it and you kind of go, okay, wait a minute, why are there light? Oh, wait, Barry's about to die, or Barry's about to go into the Speed Force and go into prison? Where's all this coming from? And they did not set that up in the beginning of this episode as well as kind of wanted it to, so it would have been better. Anyway, I've been talking a little bit. Were there any questions or comments that...
There's a lot of conversation about Devin the possible villain for next season.
Okay.
Can I get the door open?
Oh, sorry guys, my daughter just walked in.
Can I close the door, honey?
Chloe, thank
You're
you.
okay. Thank you.
All right, if you read that real quick.
There's lots of it. There's just a whole bunch of conversations. Who's Devin? Devin confirmed as the villain for season 4. There's a whole bunch. Savitar's death was lame. No, it wasn't. The red Savitar suit was
79
awesome.
says nipples. That's awkward, buddy.
Ugh. So why'd you read it? That's why they say that stuff.
Yeah,
Don't read it.
All right. Sorry, Chloe, if you can close the door, please. Sorry, guys. I'll keep talking. So anyway, the thing that kids, they make it very exciting. Anyway, so my thoughts for next season is what I'm hoping going into next season is they don't have one single big bad. I think they're setting themselves up for failure by having all of these big bads, and that it builds to so much like that they have to have a big twist. And so like this season, like, is Iris gonna die? Is HR gonna die? Is Barry gonna die? And they keep trying to out twist themselves.
DeVoe. His name is DeVoe. DeVoe.
DeVoe is the person that they're mentioning. And they keep trying to out-twist themselves, and they have to have a bigger and badder. Like, what I'm hoping is that they can find a way to scale that back and go in a different direction so that it doesn't play out the way it played out this season, where it's like we're building and building, and then it felt kind of mopey for a little bit, and so much stuff that I felt it kept going in so many directions that it always kind of feels anticlimactic when you try to do that much stuff. And so then we get to this finale after building him up this whole time, and it's a 6-minute little battle in this little window of time that kind of makes it a bit anticlimactic. All right, other conversations. Who wants some shout-outs real quick?
So do you want a question or?
Yeah, but ask your question.
What about when Barry phases into Savitar's armor and then almost kills Savitar?
Jackson John says, what do you think the future of Keiynan Killer Frost will be? I'm suspecting that she's going to be kind of an anti-hero. She's going to have kind of the snart role on the show to where she's a bad guy. She does evil things, but she frequently comes in. Carlos Lundes, Lunar Vinix, Carlos, Dylan Hill. Shout outs to all you guys.
B-ball switcheroo.
B-ball switcheroo. Like, I'm pretty sure the way it'll, the Tone Kid Gamer. I'm pretty sure that Keiynan Killer Frost will kind of work in that sort of way, that she's out there, that they'll use her sometimes when she's a good guy, sometimes she'll be a bad guy. It'll be kind of one of these comes and goes types of things. I'm very much suspecting that's what her role on the show will be. She won't be good, she won't be bad, she will be both and kind of go back and forth. Kyle Go Hard, YouTube. Hey, Game Cop, once again, back to you, buddy. Quincy Dorr. So... those are some quick shout outs to you guys. Like I said, I'm going to put out my review of the full season in a few days. I'm going to think about it, process, put a review out. So if you want to check that out, be sure to click that subscribe button to be ready to see when that comes out in a little bit. I'm going to put out a video talking about my expectations, my thoughts, my theories for season 4 in the near future. So be sure to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'm going to have plenty of Flash stuff in the near future, as well as tomorrow I'm going to have,
Sorry, I blocked Nipples guy.
Yeah, Nipples guy got blocked. My wife, she makes better life choices than I do. But so I'll have my Arrow stuff tomorrow night as well, if you guys want to join me for that. If we have some questions, you can give me a question. I'll give you my thoughts real quick.
Did you think the storm was a Speed Force storm?
Yes, I did. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this is the Speed Force. I was pretty sure that's where I was going as soon as it came up. Someone just asked, do I think Barry will get out of the Speed Force? Yes. Barry will definitely get out of the Speed Force. Eventually, that will happen. The question is, will there be a plot line of him being in there and they have Jay and Wally kind of trying to run things on Earth while he's locked away in the Speed Force? Or will it be like the opening scene of the episode is like he's just like vomited out of the Speed Force and there's something wacky with him or something? But I'm sure he will be back. They're not going to kill off their main guy. Wally is not a strong enough lead actor to be the person to take over at all. Like, he just doesn't have that presence or charisma. For me, I would say that Jay could take over the show, but that's because I was born in 1981, and therefore I watched the original show with the guy that plays Jay as the Flash as Barry Allen growing up, and I loved it. It's amazing.
Someone said, why didn't Jay go back in? Like, who cares about him?
So who cares about Jay? I care about Jay. Why didn't he go back in? That's what I was thinking too. I was like, why don't you just send the old man back in there? We'd solve all of our problems real quick if he went back in there. But for dramatic reasons and because that's how the show works, they're going to go with the one that pulls at our heart the most and makes us the most angry. Someone in this room might be very angry with the show right now after the way it ended. Our kids were in the room and she might have said some curse words out loud about the show.
I mouthed them.
She mouthed some curse words at the show whenever that stuff started. As soon as Barry's mom walks out, I'm done. It got pretty exciting in my house pretty quickly. So Douglas Aguilar says, you're dumb. Well, thanks, man. It's actually true. I'm quite stupid, but I try to be energetic in my stupidity. So keep checking. As long as you subscribe, you can insult me all you want. Do you have anyone else for us?
Someone says, Big Tito 13, where was Jessie? I would have thought that they would bring her in for the finale.
Those are some of those ones that always kind of come up with this, is that they tend to we have this filled universe filled with characters that have superpowers, and especially now on this show, it is like in this episode, they ran to other Earths and pulled people from other Earths back and forth to try and set things up to try and save the day. And by doing that, they've set themselves for the continual and constant plot problem of, why didn't they go get Supergirl? Why didn't they, there's all these places they could have gone to go pull someone over. And so the whole world is populated with people that could have come in over, that could have showed up, they could have done. But because of the way the show works, that's the problem that's always perpetually going to be there. The One Kid Gamer says that they believe the season 4 villain will be Donald Trump. Now that would be a plot twist right there if they decided to tie it to the real world like that. Do you think that Black Flash died like the actual die? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that.
Second reference I've seen to Black Flash dying. I don't know what that means.
Black Flash is at the end of last season, that's Zoom turned into Black Flash. And so they haven't done too much with that. But yeah, I think Black Flash will eventually come back. We just haven't seen that quite yet.
Overdrive X says he thinks the Speed Force storm at the end of the episode gave some people in Central City powers.
So one person speculating the Speed Force gave people powers when it did its lightning storm. That seems very probable, and I actually hope they go in that direction. I hope that by the Speed Force and the generator exploding, more people get powers, because I want them to move away from just this one gigantic villain that dominates so much of the season. That works sometimes. Sometimes having a big bad is awesome. And I feel like this season, they had to stretch it out a little bit too much, and it didn't quite play out as well as I hope. So I hope more people get powers. There's more kind of standalone episodes. And I hope they get back to happy time. I want Barry to come back, and there's some drama. But episode 8, let's have a wedding. Let's have them get married and have 3-4 episodes that are fun. That there's not this big bad that has the city in dire danger. We never know when they will show up and kill someone, and Iris could die in it. It's when you have that the whole season, it just weighs on you. It's heavy. Alex Roman says, hi back to you. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please consider clicking that subscribe button. But when it's so heavy and there's the Gabe Show says, shout out my channel. Hey, everybody, go check out the Gabe Show's channel. I've never been to your channel, so remind me in the comments after this. I'll check out your channel. But when everything's so heavy all the time, some of the fun gets sucked out of it. So a couple episodes back, there's kind of a standalone one where they just kind of Barry's lost his memory because they're trying to stop Savitar, and you just got to be happy. It was the weight was off of his shoulders, and so I'm hoping that that's to have more time like that where there's bad guys that they're stopping, and so then if there's lots of more bad guys, and you can actually check out on my channel. One of the first videos I did on this channel was a review of the pilot episode of the show, and thought I was gonna burp. And then I didn't, unfortunately. I was going to be a good burp too. Maybe it'll come out in just a second. But my review of the first episode, one of the first videos on this channel, and one thing I talked about is I was kind of afraid they were going to use the reactor exploding as a mechanism to just have regular freaks of the week, which they did a little bit in the first season, and then they moved away from it. And so they didn't do my fear, but they went in the opposite direction. And I hope they average the two of have more freaks of the week, have more kind of standalone episodes, but balance that with some, when it's appropriate, have big season-long bad guys. Right now, I'm feeling like they need to move back in the direction of standalones a little bit more and have more fun. Take the weight off their shoulders. Let Barry have fun once he comes back from being tormented in Speed Force prison hell. So we will see what happens. Someone just asked, do I think that Barry will come back? Yes, I think Barry will come back. He'll either at the beginning of the next season be vomited out of the Speed Force for some unknown reason, come out weird at the beginning, or they'll come up with some cocksome plan to like rescue him, or they'll do something to swap him out. Something like that is what I believe will happen. Once again, if you guys are chiming in, if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I'll have my whole season review up soon. I'm going to have some theories about season 4, my process thoughts, when I have time to think about it, look at some of what you guys are saying. Some of that stuff will be coming up in a little bit. I might even next Tuesday do another live feed. Hopefully you guys can join me again. If you guys are interested, let me know if that's something you'd want me to do. But go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you guys want to get more shout outs, if you want to ask for them, and if you have any questions for me.
They want me to say Bart Allen.
Oh, yeah, Bart Allen. Why do you want me to... it's one of the other...
It says Sean's wife say Bart Allen. That's what it says.
The One Kid Gamer, another shout out to you. Douglas Aguilera, Bart Allen, back to you, buddy. It's one of the other Flashes, and so then we could have 4 Flashes in this universe all going at once. Big Tito's in here. Hey, hi to you. Big Ball Swisher Hero. Hey, man. Mr. Slothy. Craig was a quizzle little. Jake J. Hey, buddy. You got a question for me. There's some quick shout outs.
Do you think there will be a new Wells?
I am confident we will have a Wells. The Alex George, hi to you. I'm confident we will have a Wells. I don't know if it will be a new Wells. With the way the show's been working, yeah, I think we'll get a Wells. Now, the question that I think is more interesting is what is the Wells we're going to get? So season 1 Wells was fun, charismatic, and then evil Wells. Season 2 was smart, good, but jerk. The Daily Plays, hi to you. Jerk Wells, and then this one was like super fun, likable Wells that you really didn't want to die because he seemed so naive and so innocent, and that's the one that they killed off. Nathan Richards 86 says Wally West take over. I don't know why I can't read at the moment. I really doubt Wally West will take over permanently, but they might give it to him for a couple episodes. Like there might be a few episodes where Barry's like locked away over here for a while, and then what we have is Wally West kind of leading things. I just can't imagine that they're going to have Wally West take over for good, run the show long term, just for the simple fact of the matter of thus far, Wally doesn't have the charisma. He doesn't have the presence that just kind of runs the show. Like when he's in the room, there's just a weight to him. It's kind of the actor, it's kind of the way he's written. But like each of the Wells characters, all 3 of them have just kind of had a presence to them that as soon as that Wells is in the room, like he brings something there that's special, and you like each of them for different reasons because that actor's really good. And whether he's being charismatic, innovative mentor guy, whether he's being jerk guy whose daughter's been kidnapped but he's really smart and he's a generally good guy, or whether he's being funny, naive guy, he brings a weight to it. And the guy playing Wally thus far doesn't have that to him. And thus far, he hasn't had to. His role on the show has been number 2 Flash guy. He's Kid Flash. And so therefore, it doesn't have to be, he doesn't have to bring that. But based off what we've seen thus far, he hasn't brought it. He hasn't shown us that he can be the lead guy of a show. So for that reason, I don't see Wally West taking over in a significant arc. I can't see it being like, for 8 episodes, Wally West is the Flash. What do we got? What's going on in the comment section?
Do you want Daniel West or Godspeed as a future villain?
I mean, like, as a villain that shows up, yes. Like, I'm very interested in all the villains kind of showing up. For right now, where they're at, I want them to step away, kind of move away from the big bads, that type of thing. Oh, hey, Sadie. I want them to... Hey, someone walked in the room. I want them to move away. Sorry, Sadie. I want them to move away from the big bads, and so do I want Godspeed taking over as the season 4 villain? Do I want that? No, I don't want it to go in that direction. But of course, like all the villains, I want them to show up, and I want all the great villains from the past to come back. Like I'm all for all of it. I want the show to run for 10 seasons and do a great job. Like I want it to be very enjoyable for 8 seasons. Someone over here is skeptical after this episode as to how much he likes that. I just don't want it to be kind of an ongoing, every season has to have a big bad and it has to be this big, gigantic, epic thing. I just don't want it to go in that direction. What else do we have? Rhino Tool asks, does my dog know that she's in the movies? No. She's made a few appearances. Yeah, she's been famous before. Actually, there's a meme out there of a dog that looks exactly like this dog sitting there with a cord going into her back.
It is that dog.
Well, that's the plot twist in the story. Oh. With the lights lighting up, so it looks like a dog lamp because there's a cord going into the dog and its eyes are lit up, and it's been shared, hundreds of thousands of times. That's my dog, and it was like we didn't even share it. It was like one of my former interns shared this story of me, or a picture of my dog, and it kind of spread like crazy. Anyway, sorry guys. What do you have a question for me?
Where did you get the phrase "chime in"?
No clue. I don't know where any of my stuff comes from. I just say stuff and then people tell me, why do you say that? And I go, I don't know. Like people have told me before I've used phrases like repeatedly as slang.
Tell Liam DeMarco that you watched Smallville.
I watched Smallville. I watched all of it. I own all the seasons on DVD or Blu-ray, depending on what point in time. I've watched through all of it several times. Maybe season 7 I haven't rewatched, but watched through all of it. Enjoyed all of it. I actually thought a lot of people say it just got bad after about season 4 or something like that. I would say it dipped down for a few seasons and it ended really strong. Just a lot of people that thought it dipped down didn't know that it came back. Jake J says, how do you feel about HR's sacrifice? Dramatically speaking, I really liked it because that's good writing. That's someone does something wrong, so they find a way to fix it, and they did something wrong, so there has to be a consequence to it. There has to be justice within it. And so then I think all that worked really nicely. The specific way that they kind of wrote it in the story of like, HR ran and rescued her, but then they got caught in the process. And so therefore he had to use the way that played out, it felt an awful lot like, we just cheat a little bit to make this happen is kind of what that felt like to me. But at the same time, dramatically speaking, it also worked because HR truly is the reason that they were able to defeat Savitar because he changed the timeline. He didn't just save Iris, he changed the timeline. And so then all the stuff kind of going on with Savitar gets changed, and that sets the stage for them to be able to defeat him. Now, I wish that little like, surprise, let's flash back and show what really happened scene. I wish that could have been stronger. I wish the elements of it could have come together a little bit better. But as for dramatically speaking, I very much enjoyed it. And except it hasn't quite sunk in yet. I guess I'm still in the denial phase that HR's dead because he's such a fun character on the show that kind of brought up, especially this season, that felt pretty heavy the whole season, which is lofty stuff. He brought a levity to it and a warmth and a fun, and I was like, I was really excited about him and Scientist Lady, hooking up and them being happy. And apparently, my wife thought it was funny that I said hook up, and she was about to spit on my computer. But so I was really excited about that. It reminded me of Michael and Holly on The Office, which for me, saying that is a very big compliment to them because it was a fun relationship, and it was really good. I really enjoyed what they were doing with that, and now he's dead, so that's not happening. But I guess we should have been able to guess something like that was going to happen. That actually, someone asked, are we going to get another Wells next season? Maybe we're not, because we already have her, and the person taking his place is her. So she's stepping into that role on the show as the quirky, wacky person, and then we'll have season 2's Wells as our Wells on the show, what I would imagine. That's probably most likely what I'm thinking. That's my final answer for the moment, is that we're not going to get a new Wells like we have the last 3 seasons. That lady's taking his place on the show, plus season 2's guy is showing up a good bit.
What's your favorite season of The Flash?
Favorite season of The Flash? I think I have to go 1. I think 1. I think this one's the weakest just because it felt they stretched out all the Savitar stuff. It was too weighty, too heavy, and so it was weighing it down quite a bit. I think season 1, I think they just started off really strong with a freshness to it, a sense of humor that I wasn't expecting it to work as well. Just all the elements were so much better than I was expecting them to be, which made for a very enjoyable show.
Nick Rock Movie Review suggests you're the villain for season 4.
Obviously, the contracts won't allow me to say my involvement on the show or what I know. Obviously, this is all a red herring right now because I know everything that happens in season 4 because I'm on. Anyway, I said too much.
Gag order.
So, anyway, someone just asked what's my favorite episode of all. I don't know. I don't have an episode that immediately comes to mind. Like this season, the one 2 episodes ago where Barry lost his memory, I really like that one just because it popped and it was fun and light again. But as for the kind of big spectrum of things, I don't really know exactly what I'm thinking. If you can look up a question real quick. Guys, if you're new to my channel, I'm going to be putting out my whole season review soon. Next Tuesday, I think I'm going to do another live Flash show to talk about my Flash series. So if you're new, had never subscribed, consider clicking that subscribe button. Next Tuesday night, we can have another lively discussion, chat about the show, have a good time talking about our theories for season 4. Once we have time to think about it, check out other YouTube channels and their theories as to what's going on. So we'll see what happens when we think about that. So consider clicking that subscribe button. Do we have a question?
If the Flash was going to end, what villain do you want to see before it ends?
I think the one that I have to go with, I have to go with the Trickster being the one to close things out because it's Mark Hamill and it's a tie back to the 90s show that I grew up with. It's not a good answer though, unfortunately. The thing about the Flash is that I don't feel like his rogues gallery it's a bunch of speedsters and then a bunch of kind of wacky they feel like a lot of throwaway type characters to me. It's not Batman's rogue gallery. And so, I'd kind of go with Reverse Flash to kind of give a bookend to the series of Ethram, however you pronounce his weird name. But you kind of put a bookends to it, would probably be the direction that I would go, is to like this time traveling guy from the future that hates the Flash, that started this whole thing off. Let's end with him to close things out, to make it all strong. 2 bookends. That's what my real answer would be. Other questions?
Lots of people have mentioned that they think it'll be played out if there's another speedster as the antagonist.
Oh yeah, I absolutely do not want another speedster. I thought it was played out this season. After season 2, a bunch of us in the world of internet discussion, before I had this channel, everything were like, please don't do a speedster. So they gave us a speedster. It was particularly frustrating because they set the season up as Flashpoint. They set it up as what's going to make the season interesting is that the timelines change and he's going to go to this other timeline. And then that was 1 episode. Like, they had a story arc that should have been 8 episodes. Like, it should have been like this 8 episode, at least 4 episodes of timeline bendy, swappy, changey stuff. And it was 1 episode, which was just such a disappointment the way they did that. And then very quickly we introduce another speedster as the villain, and that was so frustrating. And that's kind of why I don't want another big bad next season. I don't want it to be, this is the thing that Barry has to defeat with his Scooby Gang. I don't want it to be that. I want it to be, let's have a superhero show where it's a world populated with many villains and have like several little mini story arcs that are really cool that you could tie like 3 episodes together and have a little movie as he battles the return of Reverse Flash or something like that, or battles the return of Zoom, or any sort of things like that. But I think the big villain problem is that it just weighs the season down so much with all the plot that has to go with it and things like that. So I don't want it to go speedster direction. I don't want it to go big bad direction. I hope it goes a lighter season with more kind of standalone episodes or mini story arcs. So like the show Justice League, the cartoon from 12, 13 years ago, the first 2 seasons of the Justice League, the season worked where there would be 2 episode or 3 episode story arcs, and so it's like a series of mini movies throughout the season. So if you could clump together all these things and have like 8 different Justice League movies. Like, wouldn't that be cool? Is if every 3 or 4 episode kind of was like a little mini Flash movie that was self-contained, where someone new's introduced, there's all sorts of trouble that happens in the middle, and then it's resolved in the end. So I hope they kind of go in that direction. Duskree says, hello, I'm sure I mispronounced your name. If you guys want some shout-outs real quick, let's go for them. Yes, I do remember you, and I do believe I mispronounced your name last week when you chimed in as well. Unfortunately, that's the nature of reading a name. Electroflash says, I'm so confused. Me too. I am continually confused. I just record it for the future, and so you can see me saying things confused. Mick Rock Movie Reviews wants a shout out. He gets a shout out. He gets a double shout out. He actually was the person I was messaging with on Facebook throughout the whole episode. He's like, man, I saw that coming, and so go check out his channel. He does movie reviews and all that fun stuff. So check out Mick Rock Movie Reviews. He's a buddy of mine on the internets. We've actually never met in person. Who's your favorite character for Sean and the wife? Quincy Doctor says, you're awesome. No, you are awesome. Thank you so much for chiming in. Mr. Slothy wants a shout out and he gets one. Who's your favorite character, wife? Her name's Jennifer, if you guys want to know what to call her. Call her Jennifer.
I don't know. I have to think. Can I think about it and get back to it?
Cisco was an answer for a while.
Was not my... No.
Cisco's not? That's not a real thing?
No.
Sometimes in marriage you forget to communicate about the important things. Your favorite characters on the Flash.
Someone said, what do you think is going to happen to Barry in 2024? And then I'm combining it with another question, which is, do you think Barry vanishing is going to change like the particle accelerator? I don't know if that's the right thing. I can't find the question.
Well, why does Barry disappear in 2024? Because he just went into the Speed Force. Problem solved. We have resolved it. Sing Say or something like that. I couldn't read your name, but I'm trying to remember the question. You asked, am I excited about the season finale of Arrow? Yeah, I am very excited about it. I'm going to do one of these live reactions 24 hours from now. I'll be talking about Arrow season finale. This whole season of Arrow's been so up and down for me, of goods and bads, and every time I'm like pumped again, then there's like an episode that's 100% characters going, you lied to me! I can't trust you! I thought I could trust you, but then you lied to me. I hate that stuff. And they keep doing this speeches about trust and lies. It's driving me crazy. And then they'll have an episode I really like, and then they've built it up to where Malcolm Merlyn, Arrow, and Deathstroke are going to take on a team of villains and bad guys, and with Nysa Al Ghul, with Talia Al Ghul, and so League of Shadows, I don't remember, what's our new canary, our dark canary, whatever new black canary is, with Prometheus. Big showdown. I'm guessing tomorrow's showdown will live up to expectations a lot better than this episode's showdown. For the simple fact of the matter is that The Flash is a special effects show, which is much more difficult to pull off because it's expensive, whereas Arrow, not that stunts aren't expensive, but they can do that, pull that off much easier. There's a cap on what Flash can do, whereas with Arrow, you bring Deathstroke back, you get some random guy, put a mask on him, you don't have to have Manu Bennett. So that all go really nicely for me. Did you have an answer for your favorite character yet?
I said Barry or Joe. I can't decide between the two.
Yeah, Barry or Joe are both pretty great. Barry's, it's tricky to not go with Barry because it's his show. I also like Jay. Like I said, I always have a soft spot for Jay just because I grew up with 90s 90s Flash. HR's great. All the Wells I think have been really good because that actor's he's probably the best actor on the show. Techno Gaming says, can I have a shout out? No shout outs out. Just kidding. There you go. You get one. Who's your favorite Wells? Season 1 or season 3 are all really good. Season 2's his function on the show is really good, but the mentor guy in season role was really powerful. That was a nice aspect to bring to the show. And then HR is just, I did not like HR, so it's really tough to say. And each of them fit their season really nicely. That's one of the things that worked really nicely is that whatever they've needed Wells to be, that actor's been able to pull him off really well. Jake J says, finals suck. Yeah, that's what's nice about not being in school anymore is you don't have finals. The sucky part when you're an adult is you don't have 3 months off. So, yeah, I'm going to be working all summer in a Texas heat outside. Yay! What, do you got any questions?
Favorite villains from Arrowverse?
Deathstroke, of course, is the obvious one.
Oh,
Malcolm Merlin. Techno Gaming says, "Can you kill me? I cannot." My wife kind of put a cap on the killing people a while back. It's causing trouble. All the police, all the moving around, keep lying to the kids and stuff. So no more killing. Sorry, buddy. But yeah, Malcolm Merlin or Deathstroke. I think it's those two. Just that. And Malcolm Merlin, I thought in season 1 wasn't that good. So maybe he's a bad answer because I like him as the anti-hero that comes back more so than Mustache twirling. My life has sucked. This city needs to be brought to its knees and I will blow it to pieces. But what they did with Deathstroke, so the question, what's your favorite episodes? Like with Arrow, that episode in season 2 where Wilson shows up at the Queen Mansion and you're like, whoa, he just showed up and he's older. Oh man, this is that one was pretty intense. Like there was a bunch of them in season 2 that just you popped. Like you remember Deathstroke killing the mom and so much stuff that really popped and were really powerful. Other questions, thoughts, some shout outs, anyone wants some?
Do you think the newspaper is going to change to 2017 from 2024?
That's a good guess. I would suspect that it will change.
Why didn't it change already?
Because we haven't seen it since he walked in there yet.
We just saw the byline.
Yeah, we saw before. We didn't see kind of the after on some of that stuff.
We saw the byline changed back to Iris West Allen or Allen West.
But he hadn't gone into the Speed Force yet. So we haven't seen it yet. It's Triton. Sounds like he wants a shout out. He says, shout out. Shout out to you. So anyway, any questions, shout outs, anyone? If you're new to this channel, it's Triton, you just got a shout out. Shout out again. FIFA Games. Hey, thanks for chiming in. Favorite CW moment? When I first saw the trailer for Arrow, it's a weird one, but when I first saw the first trailer they put out, I was like, this is awesome. I love what they're doing with it. And I'd been kind of Jabuco Gaming, like when they first announced they were doing Arrow, I was kind of frustrated. Escozy PS4 Gaming. SKT, shout out to you. Go check out SKT on his channel. Techo Gang, why not? Jack missing a subscribe. Thanks, buddy. I greatly appreciate it. Big Tito13 says thoughts on Black Lightning. I actually haven't watched the trailer for it yet. Flash Guy, shout me out. It's me again with hearts everywhere. I love you too, man. Were you trying to say something?
Did you shout out for SKT?
SKT! Hey, SKT! Everyone go check out SKT's channel. He's awesome. He's amazing.
If you could be any of these CW characters, who would you be?
Were you going to give me a list?
Any of them.
Oliver Queen.
What?
You can do the...
Tom Welling.
Oh, if you want me to go with Tom Welling?
Well,
I was thinking the current CW universe.
Old Tom Welling.
My wife is really into 40-year-old Tom Welling, like really into 40-year-old Tom Welling. It's a thing. It's pretty amazing. But who would I be? I was thinking CW universe. I'm gonna go with.
Yeah.
She's into the other Amell. She's not into Stephen Amell.
Keeper P. Champ says that they can see you being the Arrow.
I'll need to get one of those deals. Next video next week, I'll try and do
No.
But she's into his cousin, Robbie Amell, is the Amell that she's into.
Oh, my word.
How long do you think The Flash will go on for? It's tough to say. I mean, they're going to keep running it as long as possible. And, I mean, Arrow's going to be going into season 6. So it's tough to say. I don't know. I mean, they let Smallville go for 10 seasons, so... They're going to let it keep on going. Reese Esquita says, you're cool. No, you're cool. Thank you so much for chiming in, guys. This is. I'm so glad you guys joined us or having fun with us. And thank you, wifey, the Jennifer, for joining me and helping me out. This is so much easier with a person to bounce off of. Robbie Amell is his cousin. They look like brothers and they act like brothers and they're actors like brothers, but it's actually his cousin. And that was really cool the way all that worked out because...
Gamer Cup. If you could date any of the CW women and your wife was cool with it, who would it be?
Starting to get me in trouble there. There's no good answers on this one. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't need to date anyone in the CW because you're so satisfied with the woman you already have.
Yeah, I don't need to do that. But if I have to answer the question, Felicity or Supergirl? So if I mean, no reason to do any of that. Oh, look who I found. Ah, my dog bit me.
This is a terrible idea.
Hey, another dog's in the room. They're about to have a dog fight. I did that to distract from the fact that I answered your question my wife didn't want me to answer. Do we have any other questions? Anyone want some shout-outs real quick? This room's really warm that we're in because the air conditioner doesn't go in here very well. So if you watch the video, I'm becoming shinier and sweatier as it goes along. And luckily, it's cropped right here so you can't see my sweaty armpits.
What if all these seasons are
Lando
Barry's
Polito. Shout out to you. There's dog hair everywhere now.
Yeah, that's
Chloe,
your fault.
Chloe, don't do that.
Fault.
Thank you. Chromatic, thanks for joining us. Dream idea? Yeah, those are always. It's a bad idea to do that unless it Bob Newhart that did that, and it was amazing. I think that he's the one that did it, and it was amazing.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Is Barry going to have a big role in season 4? I'm sure he will. He'll be back. He'll be back in the first episode, maybe like 4 episodes in. But I don't think that I can't imagine them writing about just because they don't have a replacement for him. Wally's not a strong enough lead. They have to know that. So then Barry will be back. He might be different for a few episodes. He might be in the Speed Force for a while. But Barry will be back, certainly. I don't have too many questions as to whether that will happen.
Log Dump would like a shout out.
Log Dump? Wow, that's Log Dump. Wow, you kind of went for it with that name. And you're probably just trying to get me to say Log Dump, which is a pretty funny thing to do. That's commitment to inside jokes right there. Other questions?
Lots of questions if Black Flash is actually dead. Did he die when he was frozen?
Nah, I'm sure Black Flash will be back.
Lots of...
Jake J needs a shout out, so Jake J gets a shout out. Thanks, buddy, for joining. I really do appreciate it. All you guys. It really does mean the world to me that you guys are joining me, talking with me, having fun back and forth. A couple of you calling me a moron. I get it. I'm pretty dumb. So let's all have. See, I started trying to read while talking again. Whenever that happens, I get kooky.
Shout out. P4P Champ 1990 Gaming. Shout out for him and his wife Jess.
Hey, Jess. I guess thanks for watching. Hey, P4P. The Flash Geeks. Can you get... I saw the number 10. You can have 10 shout-outs, The Flash Geek. 10 for you. JJ says, you always try and tune in for these. Thank you so much. Next Tuesday, I'm going to try and come back, do my episode speculating about Season 4 after I've thought about it, written some stuff out, as well as watch some other people's videos that are smarter than me that research this a little bit more. Hopefully, I can come back next Tuesday, 8:05 Central Time. We can talk, speculate, theories, maybe have this fun community join back in again. Have any questions? Jalaki, save from Brazil. I don't know what save from Brazil means, but I'm glad that hopefully that means you are safe in Brazil. Fun fact, that today I was supposed to meet my mom for dinner at Chipotle with my kids, and I went to the wrong Chipotle, and I was driving down the road at 80 miles per hour, which was the speed limit. I wasn't speeding, and then a hailstorm hit me. And I almost died going to the wrong Chipotle, got soaking wet, had to take my kids' shoes off, they had to walk in the rain, got pneumonia, walked back in the car, drove back, met up with my mother. She bought me a free dinner, which was amazing, and came back and was able to still make this video and talk with you lovely people.
Any thoughts on Earth 19 Flash?
No, I don't. I'm not tracking far enough along with what you mean.
Do you wish you had super speed?
Yeah, super speed would be a cool power. There's certain powers people say they want, like, I wish I could read people's minds. No, you don't. You do not want to read people's minds. Flight, that's awesome. If you could fly, that'd be cool. Super speed, as long as you know how to control it. Yeah, super speed's awesome. Yeah, so super strength, as long as you're able to control it. Like, if you're, like, out of control, that's not cool. But if you're able to actually control your super strength, that's a good one. But, yeah, super speed would be pretty slick. Reading minds, Absolutely not. It would ruin your life if you could read people's minds. Who's better, Flash or Green Arrow? It's like comparing green apples and green and red. My wife started making faces. I was trying to do the color thing with it, and green apples and orange. In which case, those are quite similar. But it's tough to compare them because one is very much a brooding, kind of Batman-y type character.
Green Apple, he's sour, kind of bitter.
That's true. And he is. He's a big, darker character, whereas...
Very sweeter, more wholesome.
Correct. Yeah, see, I did it. I had an analogy. I didn't even know what it was. And that's why you get married, so that someone can interpret your nonsense that you can't even interpret inside. Wow, Jake J just put up a green apple and a red apple. This person actually knows how to use this, the YouTubes really well. But... I mean, as for the shows, generic, which one do I think has more potential for me to really like it? Arrow does, just because of my dark side and liking the nature of that show more. Now, it's gotten to some pretty low points right now. It's got some story issues, and they've had some problems for the last several seasons. However, Arrow potentially has higher highs for me. And then just... I don't know if Grant Gustin is awesome on social media too, but Stephen Amell is he's like the coolest guy on Facebook. I mean, he's really cool. Super engaged with people, super engaged with normal stuff, and leveraging his role and fame to do proper causes. So like his mom had cancer a few years back, and so he's huge into raising money to fight cancer and do cancer research. And so things like that I just really like Stephen Amell, which makes me like Arrow more. And then he was on American Ninja Warrior just very recently. So Escos PS4 says, shout out! There you go. You got one.
How do you think Gypsy will affect next season?
I don't have enough thoughts off the top of my head. The heat's getting to my brains.
Do you think the Flash will be slower than Kid Flash when he gets out of the Speed Force?
I believe that he will be hindered, and so Wally will be the dominant Flash. Exactly what that looks like, I'm not quite sure. And how long that will last, I don't know. But something will happen to where he's going to come out of it, and he's going to be off. And he's going to have to count on them more and rebuild. There's going to be a lot of things like that are going to happen. Who would win, Zoom or Savitar? I'm going to go with Zoom is going to be the better one, just because he's smarter and trying to gain power in the Speed Force and accumulating it all on himself, whereas Savitar, much of his ability to win was based off future knowledge in knowing what was going to happen and outthink people based off stuff like that. Julian Ferrara says, hey, I love your videos. I'm a big fan of yours. So amazing. Thank you much. I really do appreciate it. I just like to talk movies. A year ago, I was just the guy in comment sections on... I was normally on like Collider.com, so after the episodes, I'd be in the comment section. Why did that happen? I'm driving me angry. I hope they don't have another speedster next season. And like, I like to talk about it, so joined in. And the fact that you guys join in, that we're having a lively discussion, I just really appreciate it. If you're new and you haven't subscribed, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I'm going to have my video out in a couple days, just reviewing this full season with my full organized thoughts, not kind of these scattershot ones right here. And then next Tuesday, I think I'm going to try and do another live show, talk about my thoughts, my expectations, my predictions for next season. So hopefully you guys will join in so we can have another lively discussion and do more kind of all this fun stuff. And I just really do appreciate that you guys are staying with me this long. We're at over 50 minutes. That means we're over the length of the episode, which is crazy that you guys would actually chime in, some of you guys, and stick with me. I really do appreciate it.
Do you have any speculation on season 4?
I don't really have any speculation other than my Barry's thoughts. I need to put a little bit more thought into it from what the things that they've set up with the characters. Just off the top of my head, I don't. Especially because, last week in my video on this, I was talking about how the season might end with a Buffy season 5 type ending, which is at the end of the season, Buffy sacrifices herself to save the universe by jumping into a big glowing thing. I never imagined that's exactly what this season was going to end with, and it did. And the way they did it, it kind of has me I'd speculated that they might do this Wally deal where Wally would take over for a few episodes, but not long term. But that's really my only speculation up to this point. My hope is that they don't do a big bad, that they do kind of smaller story arcs that could be like mini movies. Like the 1990s Flash show. The show as a whole was really uneven, and a lot of, like, if you watched them now, you'd be like, oh, this is rough to watch. But the first episode is 2 episodes as a mini movie. It's like a 90-minute Flash movie, and it's actually quite good. The music for it was composed by Danny Elfman. The costume was really well designed. And so there's like this mini 1990 Flash TV movie because it's 2 episodes not put together. And I hope they go in that direction of kind of these mini story arcs that can be tied together to make mini movies. That's what I'm hoping for. Any guys want any final shout outs? Lots of you guys sharing fruit with me in the comment section. I do appreciate it.
What does that mean?
Julianne Farrar says, I'm amazed at how long you've been doing this. I'm amazed at how long I've been doing this. More importantly, I'm amazed at how long someone has been willing to put out with this. Flash guy that says, shout out! There you go. You got one right there. Landon Polito says, shout out, please. You got it, buddy. David Howler. It keeps moving up the screen, so sometimes I try and read it, and then it moves, and so as I'm about to pronounce it, it keeps moving.
Just say 4.
4?
That's it.
4. I don't know. I just said 4. Log dump. One more shout out for Log dump. Julian Farrar says, shout out for me. Shout out for you. That guy needs a shout out. Let's get that man a shout out. Do you think HR is actually dead? Yeah, I think HR is going to stay dead. I don't think they're going to bring HR back. I think he's legit dead. Now they like a flashback, something like there might be something like that, but he's dead. They're not going to bring him back. What that does is that if you don't kill off Iris and no one dies in her place, the show loses the weight of saying, we're going to kill someone, Iris is going to die. And then you show her dying and you feel an emotion like, ooh, your heart sinks as you see her die. If someone else doesn't take that place, you can have a sense of like victory and loss if she joins in on that. And so I think HR has to die for that reason. He has to stay dead. Making weird faces.
What did you do last week? Someone said don't make today's saying goodbye thing like last week.
So last week at the end of it, I said, hey, any more shout outs? I'm going to leave. Any final shout outs? And no one said anything because I guess there's like a delay between when I say things and when you guys see things and when it comes back to me.
Things faster than I do.
And so then there's a delay to when it all appears. And so then I said, all right, I'm going to say goodbye. And I was about to hit finish. And then the screen just started like, shout me out, shout me out, shout me out. And it was like person after person after person. So it's just, Mr. Slothy needs a shout out. And so I just was like screaming shout out, shout out, shout out while laughing and trying to breathe very quickly, as fast as I could. Big Tito 13 says... Big Tito 13 said, I'm so happy. Good. So I found you a couple months back. Anyway, that's as much as I could remember because I started laughing. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. Ryan O'Toole, hey man, you've been in here for a while. Prodigies, yeah, letters that don't normally go together into words. Prodigy still says shout me out. Prodigy, I'm just gonna say Prodigy V. You get it. Lerb Skywheeler, lol. And a shout out for you. Beast Mode, Patriot 28. Mr. Slothy was here the whole time. Me too. I was actually here the whole time too. No one's getting I think I deserve a little bit more praise for sticking this whole... So. Oh, I don't. Rot Alam says hello. Hello back to you. Sorry, I missed someone. We got a whole bunch of new people chiming in real quick. Super Bat Knight says, I sub. Thanks. I really do appreciate it, guys. With all that said, like I said, I'm going to, if you're new, if you haven't subbed, go ahead and sub. I'm going to have my review of the whole season up in a couple days. Next Tuesday, I'm going to come back with my actual formal thoughts. I'll think about it. I'll have a plan for my speculation for next season. I'm going to check some other people out. Mohammed Hassan says, worst ending. You are not alone in thinking that. My wife right here started screaming cuss words.
That's not true.
Mouthing cuss words because she was so mad at the way this episode ended. So, Actually, the time zone, it's been almost an hour, so the time zone is almost swapped, and that means someone else has just finished watching the episode, so now a whole array of new people are going to join in. Join me for hour 2. No. Show her face. I would do that, but I actually have to live with her, and that would not go well for me. She would kill me if I did that. Woo! Oh, sorry for taking...
No, Maneem.
I am actually not drunk. This is Chipotle from the right Chipotle where I met my mother. Our kids are not asleep. They are in the other room, probably tearing things apart, playing with... This is Mr. Pibb, actually. I'm in Texas, and so we only drink Dr. Pepper here, except at this Chipotle that doesn't understand that... It's Texas. We don't drink Mr. Pibb in Texas. We drink Dr. Pepper. We are the home of Dr. Pepper. The museum is in Waco. I've been there many times before.
Okay. What is Flash God's question?
Okay. Abbas keeps asking the same thing over and over again. The wife's probably going to block you, buddy. Sorry.
Blocked.
You are officially blocked. Sorry, I didn't.
No, you don't need to apologize.
Yeah, I'm a little bit kinder to trolls, and she has standards and cares about horrible human beings doing terrible things, and I just have a little bit too much fun with trolls on the internet. I like to feed the trolls. Thank you guys so much for chiming in. Any final thoughts? We're at over an hour. We actually probably do need to get our kids to bed.
I know.
I'm overheating. Apparently, I'm behaving as if I have been drinking.
You are.
I am?
You are.
Oh. Sniperaz, the gamer, says, Wast ending. Yeah. Wife agrees with you. The specific ending, she hated it. I was kind of... If it had been a 2-part episode, if they'd been able to stretch the episode out of 2 episodes and build in this idea of the Speed Force better into it, and so it felt like it fit on the episode, because it felt like we were watching one episode and we've got our happy ending, but we got to set up the next season, so surprise, the Speed Force shows up, and then suddenly we have this thing kind of tacked onto the... Is there anything in that cup? There we go. Yes, there is something in the cup. Yes.
Someone said Super Sean would beat Flash and Arrow.
I would do my best.
Gabe and Bella Time said that.
Final thoughts, final shoutouts, final questions, anything real quick for me. It is so hot in here.
Flash God wants Black Flash. Any thoughts? I thought we covered that, but
yeah, we've talked about Black Flash a little bit. I'm pretty sure he'll be back. Yeah, how is Barry going to get out? What'll probably happen is that they'll find someone to replace him. What that looks like, maybe it'll be that Black Flash you keep mentioning. They'll find someone to take his place, or what'll happen is that the season will start, and in the first episode he'll just be like vomited out by it. Doge Legend says, "Hey, ass." Hey, man. Hey to you too. This is a weird way to chime in. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel. He's a great guy. I've never met him before, but he seems like a swell guy. But he'll probably be vomited out right at the beginning. Is it my third time saying final shoutouts? My son's been screaming. Hey, Liam, come on in real quick.
No.
Anyone? Final shoutouts? Once said final time.
Why are you asking for shoutouts?
What, me?
Yes.
Oh,
that adds like 10 more minutes.
Gabe and Bella time. The one kid gamer for the 4th time. Mick Rock reviews. Gamer Cop says sorry. I think I should be sorry. If you're new, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I'll be back in a couple days with my review of the season. Next Tuesday, I believe I will come back. With my thoughts. So if you guys can join me. Carson Wolf is pissed off about the finale. So is my wife. Yes. Flash God wants a shout out and you got one. Dark Laciano 16 says hi. I'm saying hi and I'm saying bye because I need to go because we're overheating. David Light Owler says shout outs. Shout outs there are. Doug Legends, the finale though. Yeah, it had some nice things, some bad things. Doug Legends, Barry, why you sacrifice?
Oh,
Dramatic tension.
Log Dump says bye.
Log Dump says bye, and Log Dump is the winner.